What's up, guys? This is Showtime, Showtime's Fight Forum. As always, thank you for watching. First, want to give a shout out to my producer Chris. Thank you for everything you do. You are the man's 100 grand. And this is just everything during the show and then outside the show. You are the man 100 grand. So, guys, if you ever need a video get done, make sure you go to Chris. All right. So, we have to talk about the craziest fight of the year. I said earlier in my last show how I would love for this to live up to the Joshua and Usyk fight. And boy, it surpassed that times 10. That was probably the best combat fight I've seen this year. And that is obviously Tyson versus Deontay Wilder 3. The fight that I said nobody asked for, nobody cared about. And I mean, I was right about the fact that nobody asked for it except for Deontay. Nobody cared about. Obviously, that was a lot. A lot of people watched. I mean, I obviously watched too because at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder has power in his hand. You have to watch him every time he fights. But boy, did I expect this fight to go back and forth like it did? Hell no. Did I? But I will say, however, I have to say, I did tell you, Tyson Fury might be looking past Deontay Wilder. And I personally believe that Tyson Fury did look past Deontay Wilder this fight. That was not the best Tyson Fury we've seen. He looked slower. His defense wasn't on point. He looked easier to hit. He just didn't look as focused. But at the end of the day, he still comes to fight. That's one thing you can expect. It doesn't matter if it looks ugly or not. He will come to fight and he's going to win. He's undefeated for a reason. So he did come in at 277, the heaviest he ever fought, which I don't think was the best decision. I don't think he needed to come in at 270. I think going at 265 or whatever would have been a good decision like he did last time. And I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't know what was going on in this camp. Maybe there was some validity towards he wasn't training well in his past fight. Or who knows? Honestly, he could be a little past his prime anymore now. He is what, 32 now? So we have to look at that going into the future. So he might be steadily declining, but we don't know. He still looked great though. Deontay, I'm fully impressed. I can't say anything else. I said this before how the postponing of the fight was only going to help Deontay and it was going to make, if anything, worse for Fury because he has more time to train, more time to develop his game plan, more time to hone into his skills and set up that big right hand. And I was right, completely right. He hasn't fought in a year and a half, and you could tell this man has been working his ass off since that fight. And that's nothing but respect to him. Malik Scott did an amazing job with him. I think that was the best Deontay Wilder we've ever seen. I think it's the best Deontay Wilder we will see as far as fighting Tyson Fury, because I don't really think that fight's ever happening again, and hopefully it doesn't because we've seen 3 of it, and Tyson has won all 3 in my opinion. Now, now while I'm giving him all the accolades, there was certain things that I had issues with. Number 1 was the weight. I did not understand the game plan of Deontay Wilder coming in at 238. Once I found that out, I was like, oh yeah, he's not lasting all 12 rounds. I wanted to recant, but like I said, I record these shows the beginning of the week, not the end of the week when the weigh-ins and all that stuff can be processed, because everything changes once you find out how much they weigh. It does matter. Now, how in the world was he going to last 12? That right there, when I found that, I was like, oh yeah, that means he's planning on just knocking out Tyson Fury. He doesn't plan on going the distance, because if they were planning to go the distance, he would have still been at what, 212, 215 or whatever weight that he normally fights at. Putting on all that muscle, you know what that means. There's too much oxygen that's needed in your muscles, too much lactic acid. There's no way you were going to survive, especially fighting a person like Tyson, who's going to have you on your toes and have you on the back of your feet. I mean, on the back of your heels constantly. That's just not going to work. So yeah, like I said, I wish I knew that. So then I would have said, yeah, he's going to get finished again. Now, so yeah, like I said, I didn't think that was a good game plan, but man, like for everyone saying he didn't come in shape, that's a lie. He came in shape. You just have to understand the way muscles work. When you put on so much weight, Roy Jones had to deal with that. There's a reason why when Roy Jones bulked up to 20 pounds and went heavyweight and then cut back down, he got knocked out. Yes, he won, but he looked very bad when he won. And then he fought Tarver again and he got knocked out. You want to know why? You don't play with muscle mass. When you put on all that muscle, it does not do you that well. It's not really a great thing to put on weight training kind of muscle, especially you didn't train for years in that weight. It just doesn't it doesn't equate to a winning formula. I remember, I'll use another example. I'll use MMA. Georges St. Pierre, when he bulked up and fought at 185, he looked terrible. I don't care what nobody, yes, he won the fight. He did not look good, especially his cardio. He looked tired. Yes, Michael Bisping looked even more tired, but that was not GSP that I've seen at 170. That was the worst version of GSP I've seen. Even if he won. That was an awful looking GSP. So, like I said, I didn't think that game plan was the smartest. However, let's talk about the actual fight. Woo! After the third round, when Tyson dropped Wilder, I thought the fight was over. Completely thought it was over. There was no way I thought that he was going to be able to come back from that, because you got to think, he got dropped 3 times in the second fight, and then you get dropped again in the third round, the same round you got dropped last fight. Mentally, you have to think mentally. It's like, oh no, here we go again. I'm about to get knocked out. I'm about to get stopped again. Deontay showed that he really is a true warrior. He is about everything that he says. He's not just a guy that's all talk, which I respect. I respect that times a billion. He came back out in the 4th round, and I know for a fact that Tyson Fury was honestly sleeping on him at that. He thought he was done too, because there's no way he would have fought the way he fought in the 4th round if he really thought that Deontay Wilder recovered from that 3rd round. He didn't think so. Mentally or physically, he didn't think he recovered. He sure did. And let me tell you why I'm impressed with Tyson in the 4th round. Not only did Deontay Wilder land flush with his big right hand with a straight right, but Tyson Fury walked into the punch, which makes it even worse. I don't know what chin Tyson Fury has, but if anybody, if Deontay Wilder want to say that Tyson Fury is cheating, he's cheating with his chin, because there's no way he should have got up from that. That was, his whole body was rippling from that one shot that he walked into. Ridiculous. And the fact that he didn't even get dropped instantly. He stumbled and then he dropped. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't think people understand how hard Deontay Wilder hits. So that was, whew. Once he got up, I was like, uh-oh, then we got to fight. Then he got dropped again. I'm saying, oh, Lord, Tyson Fury is done. He might be done. There's no way he's coming back from this. And this is why I say Tyson Fury is one of the best. He's an all-time great. You have to say this. He is an all-time great. Not only did he get up, but you can argue that he won every single round after that. The 5th round was very, very close. However, that was probably, in my opinion, the only close round after that. Every round from 6th to 11th was clearly Tyson. And you start to see that Deontay was fading. Deontay was fading, honestly, after the 2nd round. But after the 4th, he really started to fade. And then apparently he broke his hand in the 6th or 7th round. So there was no way that he was really about to win this. Granted, he still had a valiant effort. With a broken hand, he still was throwing that thing as much as he possibly could. And he rocked Tyson Fury even in the 9th round, 10th round, made him buckle a little bit. So, I mean, it was best fight of the year, definitely best boxing match of the year. And I hope that this inspires the Errol Spences and the Terrence Crawfords to fight each other, to fight the Teofimo Lopez's and the Tanks, to fight each other. Because when you put the best versus the best, you get fireworks normally. Not all the time, but normally. And this exceeded expectations. So shout out to both these guys. I love the fight. I mean, he did go down on the Shield, and I don't know how he survived until the 11th. That fight should have been over, honestly, around the 8th, because he was fading hard. But that shows how good his cardio really was, because if you have bad cardio, like everybody said, you would, if you weren't in shape, I'll say bad cardio. If you were in shape, you can last until the 11th. But if you're in terrible shape, like people were trying to say, you don't make it to the 11th round with Tyson Fury, and you're already gassed in the 3rd period, 4th period. So, yeah, shout out to them. It's unfortunate that, not Tyson, but Deontay is a little bit of a bad sport, but it's in his nature. That's what makes him great. He has a big ego, and it helps him out. So you have to, appreciate that. But I would love to hear what you guys think as well as about the fight. My next episode, I am going to break down what is next for both, because this one kind of went a little long. So I want to break out what's next for both fighters. And also, like, what's up with Tyson Fury? We're going to start putting him in the all-time great conversation. So we're going to talk about that next. As always, subscribe, like, comment, and all that good stuff. This is Showtime. Thank you guys for watching.